You're listening to Time Tellers, where history has a pulse, and today it smells like saltwater and sunscreen.
That's right, Dan. Whether you're packing up for the Jersey Shore or dreaming of a quiet lakeside retreat, we're diving into the sandy story of how beaches became the vacation destination.
From medieval Europe to Malibu, from the cold shores of Lake Superior to the sun-drenched Keys of Florida, today's episode is your historical passport to paradise.
Before the beach was where you went to unplug, it was more of a no-go zone. For centuries, people considered the ocean and the shoreline liminal spaces, where the world of the living ended and something else entirely began.
In ancient Greece, the sea was tied to mythology and chaos. Poseidon wasn't just a god, he was a volatile force. You can even ask Neptune that. Romans sometimes viewed the sea as a means to power, not pleasure. Ports were practical, not picturesque.
In medieval Europe, particularly post-Black Death, the coast was avoided because many believed the ocean could carry diseases. Plus, shipwrecks and maritime ghosts filled folktales. For instance, in part of Cromwell, England, people spoke of sea wraiths, spirits of drowned sailors who haunted the shore.
So what changed? It wasn't just medical advice. As the Enlightenment spread, nature itself became something to observe and admire. Thinkers like Rousseau emphasized natural beauty, which included the sublime and terrifying spectacle of waves crashing endlessly on the rocks.
Does make for a very peaceful sound.
Shh.
British artist J.M.W. Turner painted seascapes that made the ocean look both glorious and frightening, foreshadowing the allure we'd eventually feel. The beach was slowly moving from terror to tranquility.
And that brings us to the 1700s, when physicians began prescribing sea bathing for ailments. Dr. Richard Russell in England believed saltwater cured everything from gout to depression.
I could see why the depression, though, just with the sun. His ideas caught
that
on,
make it worse.
And soon enough, coastal towns like Brighton became the first seaside resorts. Bathing machines, modesty shawls, and segregated swimming zones all came into play.
It's a bathing machine.
I was wondering the same thing. Modesty shawls I get, and what they mean by segregated is women and men.
Yeah, because I know that I just don't know.
Like separate, because that would have been indecent to swim together.
Stop showing your ankles.
Oh, gosh.
Scandal.
Oh, heavens to Betsy.
I can see your elbow.
We're all going to Hades.
Town? Way down to Hades town? In the U.S., beach culture took root alongside other trends. Railroads, yay, public health movements, and a growing middle class.
After the Civil War, cities were growing, noisy, dirty, and crowded, like they still are. Nature was seen as restorative. As trains expanded into coastal areas, developers saw a golden opportunity. Sell the sea as a tonic.
Yay, capitalism.
Yep.
Cape May, New Jersey, claims the title of America's first seaside resort. The elite visited in the 1810s, and by mid-century, it was packed every summer.
Then came Coney Island.
Yay.
By the 1870s, it was known for food stalls, sideshows, and eventually roller coasters. It gave working-class New Yorkers a taste of escape for just a nickel.
Coney Island is also where the modern swimsuit began to take shape, though early versions were wool-heavy and modest enough to cover knees and elbows, as they should.
Wool? Ugh. No, thank you. Public transit was key. Streetcars and later subways brought millions of Americans to the Atlantic shoreline. That's one word. Shoreline. Beach towns were now within reach for immigrants, workers, and families alike.
Frederick Law Olmsted, the designer of Central Park, saw natural water as essential to well-being. He helped shape park spaces in places like Boston and Buffalo with access to artificial beach-like shores.
Buffalo being on Lake Erie.
Yep.
Which is where we are as well. Which will get mentioned later.
Shocker.
Post-World War II, America exploded with optimism. And with it, the concept of vacationing by car. The Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956 made it easier to get to the coast. And suddenly, Florida, California, and the Jersey Shore became magnets.
And those places offered more than just sun. Surf competitions, beachfront amusement parks, and music festivals created the beach lifestyle.
Let's not forget the influence of film. From Gidget to Blue Hawaii, beaches were glamorized as sites for fun, romance, and innovation. Let's not forget the influence of film. From Gidget to Blue Hawaii, beaches were glamorized as sites of fun, romance, and reinvention.
That's what I think of when I see dead fish.
Ugh. Gross.
Of course, this was also a time of racial segregation. Many beaches were off limits to Black Americans, leading to the rise of safe spaces like American Beach in Florida and Atlantic Beach in South Carolina.
Some of these communities thrived, building dance halls, hotels, and even golf courses. Their stories are often let out of beach history, but they're vital.
California's Muscle Beach introduced outdoor exercise to the mainstream. Meanwhile, Florida's spring break culture grew into a rite of passage for college students by the 1980s.
Spring break. Here's something most people don't know. The color and the texture of sand can tell you a lot about its origin. White sand means typically quartz-based, found in Florida and the Caribbean. Black sand, volcanic in origin. You might see this in Hawaii, Iceland, and parts of New Zealand. Pink sand, crushed coral and shell fragments, seen primarily in Bermuda and the Bahamas.
Atlantic beaches are often cooler and rougher. They tend to have more dramatic tides and larger dune systems. Think of Cape Cod or the Outer Banks. And also think of great white sharks.
Oh.
It's Jaws' 50th anniversary this year.
Yes, it is. And that is, ironically, one of my favorite movies.
Do you have Peacock?
Yes.
They have all four of them on there right now.
I don't like any of the other ones.
1 and 2 are good.
First, maybe 2. Maybe 2.
And 4.
I'll give
Especially when Jaws roars. And follows them all the way down from, all the way from Martha's Vineyard down to, or Amity Island. Martha's Vineyard where they filmed. Anyway,
right.
Amity Island down to the Bahamas.
And I somewhat almost more enjoy the story of filming Jaws more than the movie itself. What about the play? Nightmare.
Did you see the play?
No.
The shark is working?
It was no, but that, yeah.
It had its premiere up in Toronto, and then it was on Broadway for a little bit. It actually starred, what's his name? I forgot, the actor that plays Quint.
Oh, okay, yeah.
His son.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Was in it, and also, I think, co-wrote it.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it was on the making of the thing.
Now, I've seen some behind the scenes documentaries and stuff, and we're lucky to have that movie. Let's just say that.
And some of the deleted scenes are great too, like when Quint plays clarinet. That's a good one.
Where were we?
I should have brought my tiger.
We were talking about the Atlantic Ocean. Now we're going to talk about the Pacific. The Pacific beaches, thanks to
California girls?
California current, have colder water year-round.
Oh, I was hoping for some Daisy Dukes.
They were known for big waves, cliffside views, and rugged coastlines. Think the second movie of Twilight when she jumps off the cliff. Anyways.
I'd rather not think about Twilight.
Hey, it's Taylor Lautner. I have to appreciate, even in the bad wig, have to appreciate.
I saw a few seconds of it because somebody made me watch it.
Oh, whatever. It wasn't me. I didn't make them watch it.
No, and then I got distracted. and fell asleep.
Okay, other parts of the Pacific would be with those rugged coastlines like Big Sur or Oregon's Cannon Beach.
Gulf beaches, like the ones along the Gulf of Mexico.
Yep.
They're warm and calm. The water is shallow, and the sand, especially in places like Destin or Siesta Key, is soft and bright white.
And let's not forget the Great Lakes.
I already forgot them. They must not have been very great.
They're named the Great Lakes because they are great.
But there's greater lakes.
They are the greatest lakes.
No, they're not.
I'm just kidding. Anyways.
You're just saying that because they're in America.
These freshwater coasts offer wave action, dunes, beach glass, and no salt or jellyfish. However, unfortunately, there are fish. Grand Haven, Presque Isle here in Erie, and Sleeping Bear Dunes are beloved inland gems.
Here's a quick beach bucket list with activities. Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Clam digging, lighthouses, and whale watching.
Yeah, we can't watch whales on Lake Erie unless I'm sunbathing.
I'm glad you beat me to that. But then I would also need, sunglasses.
I'm Irish. Get over it.
Santa Monica, California. Pier rides, volleyball, and surf school. And horrible music. Clearwater, Florida. Dolphin watching, sugar soft sand. Cannon Beach, Oregon. Haystack Rock tide pools and puffins. Puffins are amazing. Sleeping Bear Dunes, Michigan, with dune hiking and stargazing. Gulf Shores, Alabama, with shrimp festivals and snorkeling.
Shrimp. All I can think of now is Forrest Gump, but go ahead.
Kailua Beach, Hawaii, for paddleboarding and sea turtles.
I want to see a sea turtle in real life. That would be cool.
You've never seen one in an aquarium?
Well, I meant in the wild. Jeez.
Well, then go somewhere where they live.
Let's not overlook beachside history. Galveston, Texas was once called the Ellis Island of the South. Waikiki, Hawaii was surfed by Hawaiian royalty long before tourists came.
The true American kings.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Tybee Island, Georgia, Civil War era forts and hidden bunkers.
There's a whole bunch of islands in Georgia that have all that. Jekyll Island.
Yes,
all that.
You are correct.
There might even still be some island off the coast of Georgia that's all people that still think the Civil War is going on.
That's possible.
I know this. Just isolated. Who knows?
Here are some quieter coastal escapes. Dry Tortugas, Florida. This is accessible only by boat or seaplane. Shishi Beach, Washington. Hiking only with sea stacks and bald eagles. That could be kind of cool. Oh, I have no idea how to pronounce this. Daufuskie Island, South Carolina. Galagichi Heritage and underdeveloped beaches. Boneyard Beach, also in South Carolina, has apparently bleached trees that you can turn into driftwood sculptures. North Manitou Island, Michigan. No roads at all, just trails and stars. I mean, you can't see stars anywhere else.
Sounds like Mackinac Island.
Kind of, yeah, it does sound like that. But I don't even think they have golf carts.
Oh.
In Selkirk Shores, New York, calm waters on Lake Ontario. Great for kayaking if you're into that.
But what if you want a canoe?
Well, you're out of luck.
Kayaks only?
Yes. Like the Edinburgh Lake.
You can use both there.
No, I'm just kidding. I've been kayaking there. That's why I said that.
You won't find neon signs here, just tide, time, and tranquility.
Again with my alliteration.
Yeah. 3 T's, kind of like Time Teller's Tunes.
Mm-hmm. Or Time Teller's Tuesday.
Or Time Teller's Thursday.
In 1900, Galveston, Texas, was devastated by the deadliest hurricane in U.S. history. 8,000 people died. Today, seawalls and markers tell the story along that beach.
During World War II, U-boats stalked the East Coast. People watched from shore as ships burned offshore. And some even made it into the lakes.
Yes, and also that is a similar thing that happened during, well, all the wars, really. I mean, I was going to say Civil War with the first submarine that sort of worked. It didn't really work.
It just didn't work too well for the
people inside it. Yeah.
Yeah, any of the 3 times they tried with it. I mean, it only killed...
But technically, it was the first manned submarine, I think, as far as I know.
I mean, they only killed 3 full crews.
Of like 2 or 3 people each?
6?
No, they didn't fit that many in there.
It was like 5 or 6.
Maybe I'm confusing it with the mini subs from the Japanese mini subs in World War II.
Maybe I'm talking about the Hunley.
Because now, yeah, you're right. Because I was thinking of the Japanese mini subs that had only 3 tops.
That's like one of 2 things worth visiting in South Carolina. Well, Fort Sumter's kind of interesting. But...
yeah, I would go to Fort Sumter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then where they have the Hunley Museum where you can see it.
Well, when my parents lived in Georgia, I went to not Scarlett O'Hare, the author. I just forgot her name. Her museum. But anyways, I digress. Beaches were also battlegrounds for civil rights. In 1960, Biloxi Wade in protests desegregated Mississippi beaches. Brave activists entered whites-only zones and were beaten, but their actions led to federal lawsuits that opened access.
If only people realized what colors fish were.
Gray? What?
Yeah, I mean, that's just as relevant.
Oh, okay, carry on.
I mean, if you're going to complain about black people, aren't you complaining about gray people that aren't even people? They're just fish.
Fish are gross. Go ahead.
See? And on the joyful side, how many marriage proposals, first kisses, and sandcastle contests have happened along these shores?
None of mine. But anyways, science backs it up. The ocean lowers cortisol, boosts serotonin, and promotes something called blue mind, a sense of peace near water.
It's not just about tan lines, it's about wonder. You're face to face with nature's rhythm.
The beach reminds us sometimes of what matters: simplicity, sensation, shared moments.
You know, Renee, we often forget that public access to beaches didn't just happen by chance. It was fought for and sometimes lost.
In the early 20th century, wealthy landowners in California and New York bought up vast stretches of coastline. Even now, there are battles over private beaches. You know, like when some people claim to have a private beach, but they don't. They're just the closest ones to the beach.
The New Deal helped. The Civilian Conservation Corps built trails, picnic shelters, and boardwalks. Presque Isles roads and beaches, CCC built.
At least originally.
Yeah, don't get it confused with the CCCP.
Later, the Water and Land Conservation Fund protected coastal areas nationwide. Some of your favorite state parks were funded by it.
What's one of your favorite state parks, aside from Presque Isle?
I don't know if this is actually a state park, but Hocking Hills in Ohio. It was very close to where I grew up. We used to go there a lot. Old Man's Cave. That was awesome.
Who cares about Ohio? Keep going.
Stop it. You're being mean.
Do you want me to be mean?
You were.
Why? Because I was making fun of Ohio?
Beaches and stories symbolize both beginnings and endings.
Think The Great Gatsby, that final line. So we beat on boats against the current. Fitzgerald's Long Island Beach symbolized illusion.
Or Virginia's Wolf to the Lighthouse. Waves as memory and grief.
Or Edgar Allan Poe's unfinished work, The Lighthouse.
Ooh.
Soon to be a musical to be released this fall, or wherever you listen to music, called Alone in the Light. Jaws, in 1975, made millions afraid to go swimming. Baywatch made millions want to, or at least
go to the beach.
Go to the beach for the scenery.
Lucille Ball's beach outings, or the Brady Bunch Hawaiian trip, kept the beach as America's playground. Insert local lore here. That's you.
Oh, I'm local lore?
No. Well, you're the one who brought it up.
Well, yeah, I just brought up Lucy's.
Alice?
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Lucy's local connection is she's from an hour away from here originally.
True.
Yeah, up in Celeron, New York.
Mm-hmm. Also on the Great Lake of Lake Erie.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I mean, close.
Yeah.
But
And
then
I forgot what her name.
Alice.
No.
Yeah, but what was her...
Anne, whatever it is.
Oh, what's her last name? Played Alice on the Brady Bunch. Grew up in Erie.
Yeah, grew up in Erie and also did shows at the Erie Playhouse.
Yes, she did. They have photographic evidence and everything.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to get yelled at for forgetting her last name.
And she graduated from Strong Vincent.
When it was still a high school. Yes.
Yeah. Who was Strong Vincent? Oh, you'll just have to listen to another episode for that one.
Think Civil War era.
That was the 17th century. I mean, 19th century. Since we haven't mentioned that in this episode, we have to, 1800s is 19th century.
We should probably try and... This, I think, was supposed to be a tiny time teller. Well...
It's only 20 minutes, if that.
Oh.
Anyway, it's where drama, romance, and renewal all play out in flip-flops, or Crocs.
Flip-flops are better.
No. You mean slippers?
No. Flip-flops are easier to clean out from all that sand.
Flip-flops are slippers if you're somewhere where you actually wear them all the time, like Hawaii. That's why they call them that.
I have never been to Hawaii, unfortunately.
Why?
Probably never will.
Why not?
Because one has to have money and, I don't know, a real ID to travel.
Or a passport.
Or a passport, none of which I have. So,
You just get on a boat and get going.
you have been listening to us ramble here on Time Tellers about beaches near and far. Although I, for one, don't go to the beach often enough for my dad. He would prefer I go more often because he grew up here and loves Presque Isle.
Yeah.
I, however, have a very big dislike of things in the water, with the few exceptions, like sea turtles, for instance. Anything gross and ugly looking, especially when it washes up. I don't like it.
What's your definition of gross and ugly looking?
Oh, so tempted right now, but I'm going to be nice.
I'm not talking about the mirror in front of you.
I'm not going to be nice anymore. It's sitting right next to me.
That'll be edited out.
Okay, then. This was titled Beneath the Boardwalk.
Not to be sued for it's not under the boardwalk.
No, it said beneath, not under. I wrote beneath.
Yeah.
Which is ironic.
What did you do beneath the boardwalk?
Do we even have a boardwalk here? I guess the one beach has
I mean,
a boardwalk.
sure,
can't
any
remember which one
dock you go under.
Like even Dobbin's Landing, you would consider that a boardwalk? I mean, it's huge
because it's
comparatively. It was at some point. Well, because remember, they're doing the construction down on the bayfront. And
they're doing construction?
They're doing construction on the bayfront, and they're slowed down because they keep running into old docks that we just build up over. That's intelligence there, people. I'm like, hopefully you don't run into any human bones, because that will really slow you down.
I hope they do, just so they have to stop it.
You're not going to be able to drive. It's going to be a crime scene or an archaeological dig, one or the other.
That's what I mean. They'll just have to stop the entire project indefinitely.
And you're not going to be able to use the bayfront, which I use every single day. So when they shut it down next year for an entire year, that's going to suck. For me, personally.
Oh, well.
Because of where I work and where my parents live.
Oh, well.
Who are my main babysitters for after school for about an hour.
Catch you where the land meets the water. Till next time.
Stay curious and stay safe. And you're going to need a bigger boat. I just got glared at. Bye.